I don't know that I like the name TikTok.
I like the name.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Like TikTok, like
TikTok.
times a
We call it talk.
times a wasting.
You know? We call it talk. The cool kids call it talk.
They do?
I don't think so. I made that up. This is Byron, Lazine, and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 87 of The Real Word.
Word is up. Are you
All
sure
right.
about that? 87?
Yeah, I was actually second guessing myself, but it is indeed 87.
I feel like it should be like
13 away from
89 or
100.
something.
No.
Oh, are we going to is that going to be celebratory? Oh, you think we'll hit that before the end of the year?
Ooh,
We should, right?
We're going to be pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little
Mhm.
quick in the head calendar math. We should, as long as you
Yeah,
don't
3
take too
months.
many vacations on
I don't take any
filming
vacations
day.
in the fall. I'm sorry. I'm here on Labor Day.
Yes, it is Labor Day. Happy Labor Day
Happy Labor Day.
weekend to everybody. A couple days late maybe when you see this. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. We've got 2 rackets, and then as we're like doing this new Marketeer of the week, for a couple weeks there was the marketing moment.
I mean, he can't let something sit for more than 2 weeks, and then he's
Without
got to
changing
change it again.
We're doing, this week we've got a Marketeer of the week and a not Marketeer of the week. So as long as we get 2 every week, and you're free to send them in to us.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, our non-Marketeer one actually was sent to us by a very loyal fan.
Hit
so.
us up on Instagram. Suave, you always have the Instagrams in here. Put the Instagrams in here. DM us some absolute Marketeers of the week and then some not Marketeers. So we've got one of each for you this week. But let's jump into our rackets. This top topic I'm really interested in.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is Redfin publishing agent commissions on its website for its listings. So Redfin listings on the website are now going to show you what the buyer agent is receiving. So say they're getting 2.5 bananas or 2.8 or 3.1 or 3 or 2.
Are they doing the percentage, or are they giving?
They actually show a percentage.
They're showing the percentage, so
They're
not
showing
the
a
actual
percentage.
number.
They are showing you a percentage, and
Okay.
then obviously that's going to be of the sale price.
Of course. Yeah.
And so here in their example, and there's a Realtor Mag link, and then inside of that Realtor Mag link is the blog that Redfin put out on August the 19th.
Because I feel like sometimes when I do showings, like I'm printing out like the agent sheet and giving it to the buyer so they see
it's
what I'm
on there.
getting paid
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so this shows you here in their example, buyer's agent commission 2.8% in this example. Now, Redfin's not the first to do this. The Northwest MLS, I want to make sure I get that name right.
Price per square.
Seattle area MLS also has already done this, where they're showcasing what the buyer agent is receiving. And here's why, right? Let's get into why.
Let's do that.
Do you want to get into why, Nicole?
I'd love to.
So Redfin, they did a survey in last year. Was it last year? No, it couldn't have been last year. It must have been more recent. Anyways, they did a survey. I'll get you the date here in a second. Did a survey on how many of the buyers, the consumers, understand fully where or how the buyer agent, their buyer agent, is getting paid.
Right.
And over half of the people said they don't have any idea, or they're confused, they're not clear on how the buyer agent is being compensated.
So before we move from that topic, though, I feel like they probably just don't care enough, because if they cared enough and you really wanted to figure it out, wouldn't you ask more questions?
Well, do they care enough, or are they getting information like this from buyer's agents? Hey, how much am I going to have to pay? How do I pay you again? And then the buyer, oh, don't worry about me. I work for you for free. Then they might just go, oh,
well,
geez,
I hope no one's saying that.
Not saying anything here.
I mean, if anything, they're saying that the because it's not really even in my
or
mind.
Or they say a lot of times, oh no, the seller's agent pays me. The seller's broker pays me. Don't worry about it. The seller's agent pays me. And they go, okay.
Yeah.
Seller's agent's going to pay you.
Seller's agent pays you.
And so then a lot of times they don't say anything after that, but there's probably still questions. How are they paying you? Like, is that a percentage of the sales price? Is it a flat fee? Are they paying you hourly? Like, am I going to get, have to pay more in closing costs? Is this part of my closing costs? There's a lot of uncertainty there.
I don't know.
And I certainly think that a lot of, buyers probably working with really good agents fully understand. And certainly people who have, first-time home buyers, I bet you there's massive confusion. But it's somebody that's sold, they get it because now they're hiring an agent. And, typically how it works. And a lot of this right here, by the way, is just stemming from the big, class action lawsuit that's kind of hovering in the clouds somewhere over this industry right now. Because it deals with the buy side. But if you're selling your house as a consumer, you understand, hey, I'm going to be offering out, or my broker is going to be offering out a percentage of the commission, right? Like for us, if we're getting 6 bananas, we may offer out 2.5 bananas and keep 3.5 and show that up front to the listing agent. But do the buyers, when they're looking at 5 different homes in a tour, do they see what their buyer agent is receiving should they choose one of these homes to be the one that they purchase, right? Is it 2, 2.5, 3? And kind of if you're, to me, I think the transparency around knowing what my buyer agent is going to be receiving from the listing broker is actually important. Here's why. Because if you're somebody who's working with an agent, you're not sophisticated in doing deals, this is maybe going to be your first transaction, and by the way, your biggest transaction of your life. And maybe you're working with an agent that you trust, you hired them, but maybe you don't trust them like you would a family member or a best friend, right? There's still some uncertainty of like, am I getting screwed here?
Right.
And if they're really passionate about pushing one house or 2 houses, right? Like when I would work with buyers, I would never push any house. Like,
never.
I would never sell a house.
No.
Because in my opinion, as a buyer agent, the way to show that you have absolutely no value if you start pushing houses on your clients. But why are you pushing this house so much? Are you getting 3 bananas and you would have only gotten 2 maybe rotten bananas on this one here? Is that why you're pushing the house so much?
Yeah, so I'm hearing all of that. I also, I've actually received checks from buyers because they felt as though I didn't get paid enough for the amount of time that I gave them, which was, I gave it back because that is not allowed. But I think I know that we're sort of concentrating you're concentrating on sort of the negative side of a buyer's agent, I guess.
Well, actually, what I'm concentrating on,
I'm hearing you. I feel like there's so many conversations to be had around it. I do agree that, it does obviously show transparency, but I also would really like to think that buyers are just like, because again,
but what's the problem with more transparency? I believe.
No, I'm not against it. I'm not at all against it. You just would hope that buyers are just also not like, I don't know. Like,
okay, so to me, there's 2 parts of this conversation.
Yes.
One, we need more transparency in real estate. And I believe, I'm one of the agents that believes everything that we should see on the MLS, every stat that we see as agents.
Oh, I'm not trying to hide it. I'm not. Oh my God, I'll show. I mean, obviously, like we're not even really getting 2.5 bananas because if you really want to see where all the money is going and what I'm really taking home is a whole nother story.
That's a great point. The 2.8 is super misleading. Your buyer agent that you're working with is not receiving the 2.8. If they're on a brokerage and a team, there's going to be 2 splits right there. They're going to have expenses on this transaction, so there's going to
guys,
they're
and you've been working with them potentially for 3 years,
right?
And
so people aren't going to likely they're going to see 2.8 and they're not going to do all of the math. Taxes are a part of that you don't see, right? Because this is off the top. So number one, I just believe, though, that all consumers should see market stats as readily available as agents do and all the information.
Right.
So I believe in that. Number 2, and what I've been screaming on the internet for about 7 years, if your business is buyer agent heavy, if you're a buyer agent by trade, if you're somebody who works with a lot of buyers and most of your business, the majority of your business is helping buyers, you are extremely vulnerable. You are as close right now to being dead as you've ever been in this industry based solely off of commission compression. It is happening everywhere around us on the buy side. And this is just another example because you're now going to get retraded on the services that you're providing because over time, over the next 3 years, you're going to see more and more brokers do this. You're going to see more and more online portals doing this. And your buyer's going to say, listen, I'm $5,000 away. I know you're getting 2.8 on this. Let's make this work. You're telling me you really want me to get this house.
Like, hey, and I'm like, I'm sorry, how much do you think I'm actually getting paid that I can cover your $5,000 closing costs? Like,
and what this will do over time when there's enough of these conversations of like, hey, my buyer agent is providing this service and they don't want to chip in, I'm just going to go have that conversation with the listing agent. If you're not today becoming a dominant listing agent in whatever market you work in, you're not even going to have the opportunity to negotiate your commission with the clients when they're retrading you. You better start scooping up inventory if you haven't already, because that is absolutely the name of the game.
I agree. I guess you also just really desperately need to show your value. I mean, most buyers, I feel like, have been coming to me, especially from out of state, because they need to know about the town. They need, like, that. I've got children, so they want to know about, like, the school, like, so
or carving out like a niche.
Like, you do need to show your value. You definitely need to show your value if you're going to stay in that space.
And carving out a niche, like we talked about it on one of our magical marketing moments.
Oh,
what
God.
you're
It's
doing
not called magical anymore.
With the House of Social Media, but like literally, if I'm an investor in this market, I'm calling you because I want to have the upside of not only you being able to find the deal because you've shown consistency in doing that, but in terms of your eye on, hey, you know, if I were to buy this and knock this, what do you think about like the layout on the resale? Yeah. That's where a great buyer agent can
value, because you're right. I mean, they will just trade you, or they will go with the listing agent. Where, you know, again, I mean, we go over those in scripts too. Like, is really going with the listing agent like your best bet? You know what I mean?
Here's the thing: I can come off a little heavy when I say like buyer agents are dead. I just mean 90% of them. Like, right. I think there'll be some really good, great buyer agents and people that have past clients and clients that call them from out of state and say, hey, go look at these 3 houses. Tell me which one I should buy, and I buy it.
I just wanted to make that clear.
Of course, 100%. I'm talking general, overall the market.
Like people that are sitting at the desk doing desk duty.
We're going to go from
on that as business.
Yeah, we're going to go from 1.4 million people in NAR to 800,000, we're not going to see a repop back up to 1.4 someday. Like, we need less agents in the future. The end of the story.
For sure.
All right.
Although, don't you feel like there's so many popping up? How many messages do you get? Like, hey, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it.
Yeah, lots.
Holy.
Lots. But that's consistent. All right.
Okay.
Consistent for a good market. Anyway, here we go. Racket number 2. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm ready.
What do you think about the first racket?
It's great.
It's great.
It's great.
Good. All right. Racket number 2. Coldwell Banker NRT is seeing top agents and teams jump ship. The latest is $130 million CB team jumping over to Keller Williams. They've done business in somewhere in California. Beverly Hills. You've seen a lot of these Coldwell Banker Beverly Hills, California agents jump ship. Chris Cortazzo recently, who's usually like in the mix for number 1 individual agent.
Yep.
He's been Coldwell Banker's top agent and number 3 agent in country and sales volume according to Real Trends. So he had number 3 this year. And that's, you know, after basically he's a Malibu agent, half of Malibu burned down. He's still number 3. Ginger Glass, the 71st ranked agent in sales volume. They both made the switch over to Compass. Okay, so I want to make
they have fly signs. I don't blame people at all.
The signs get you, huh?
They do.
All right, so I don't want to make this about, you know, the problems with maybe specifically Coldwell Banker, NRT, or, you know, Real G brands. And we all know what's going on kind of with the stock price and all of that. I want to make this a general conversation around brokerages, whether you're a small indie brokerage, whether you're privately owned but not so small, or whether you're like one of these brands that are publicly traded and so on. That when your brand, does not speak to your agents or the consumer, and most of these real estate brands, by the way, aren't speaking to the consumer at all. Like, I can just paint a blanket statement across, except for outside maybe some like really unique hyper-local indie brands.
Right.
When you look at these big names, they're not really speaking to the consumer, not in a way that Zillow is or Redfin, who we talked about earlier. But when they're not speaking to the agent, and the top agents of a brand that they absolutely want to represent and that they're proud of representing in 2020.
And they've probably been representing them for a while, too.
Cortazzo's been at CB for years, and I don't know about this particular, we'll link up the article as we always do. This is an Inman article. But when you're not speaking to these top agents and brands and you're having to go out, now the argument is, and we see the Compass lawsuit, well, Compass is going out and paying for people. Listen, I don't want to hear that crap because CB's been doing it, and everybody else, by the way, all the brokerages have been doing that for years. Okay, so that is a lame loser excuse. It's all about agents flipping over. Yeah, maybe a signing bonus, but they could leverage their own brand into giving them more money if they needed it. It's the brand that they're proud of standing behind and one that they see as a fit for their business in 2020 and beyond. And the brokerages that don't start to really innovate how they're going to invest in individual agent top team brands are going to continue to see people exodus at a really rapid rate over the next few years. I'm probably even more passionate about this because it speaks to what we talk about all the time with brand than I am even, about the commission thing. This is a really good show, by the way. I'm liking this.
Well, that's because you're talking a lot.
Yeah, I'm really.
You're doing it. I mean,
I feel bad about it.
It's okay. I feel like I should just need water. Should I grab you a water?
I could use a water actually. That's a good idea.
At least I'll have something to do over here.
Yeah.
No, I think I think you're right. I think what's super interesting is that, again, the 130 million in sales. I mean, the amount of transactions that are even currently pending that they now have to deal with.
Oh yeah.
Are clearly
this will disrupt their business.
It will 100% disrupt their business, and not even just immediately. Probably for at least a year, it will take them to finally really, not even recoup loss, but just be steady again. And they still didn't want to stay knowing that was going to be the outcome, which is, I think, the most important thing for people to see is that, these people are, if you're happy where you are, you're not looking anywhere else. You're not tempted by anything else. I mean, I approach, agents regularly, and they're like, no, I'm happy where I am. And, that, they're being given what they were promised, and they're happy, and they're doing exactly what they want to do.
And something else about, a lot of the brokers getting hung up on what different brokerages are doing in terms of sign-on bonuses. A lot of these teams, a lot of these top brokers that are switching are approaching that brokerage that they're getting the big sign-in bonus for. They're going and saying they're recruiting their next brokerage because it aligns with how they believe their business is today and evolving into the future.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So great show, Byron.
I think this is a great show, Nicole. I'm glad you were here for it.
Yes.
All right. I think this is. I think it's
interesting.
I think all the brokers out there right now that are not trying to operate as a startup and bringing on their executive staff, people that get it 2020, are absolutely in a position to have this happen to them, and where agents continue to flee.
And I think that's the most important, because again, you're seeing, and again, maybe I shouldn't. I'm sort of, yes, I think that there are some companies that they've held on to people maybe a little too long, on the back end.
They've held on to what's always worked for them. The amount of print, the money that we're spending as an industry on print, and these brokers are spending on print.
And what they're paying their people in order to do the print.
Yeah. It's
you need new blood.
They've got a marketing department that for the last 25 years has been literally doing creative around print. And now they're going in there and saying, we got to get hooked on the social media. And they're like, huh? What?
Right.
I'm here to do the newspaper ads.
Right. I'm doing logos.
I'm doing the magazines. All right. We've got our Marketeer of the week.
Yep.
And then we'll do our Not Marketeer. You definitely want to stick around for the Not Marketeer. It's insane.
I don't know. I don't feel like I like Not Marketeer.
Yeah, the Marketeer.
The Unmarketeer of
the
week.
The Not-so Marketeer.
The Not-so Marketeer.
All right. Number one, let's give it up to Denver's West and Main Homes. We love this West and Main logo.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I haven't seen it. I'm just.
Well, it's got the little plus sign, just like our company.
Plus signs. We like plus signs.
So we're one in company here in Connecticut. We got a little plus sign.
Mm-hmm.
They've got this snazzy plus sign in their logo. Love that.
We should go there. I feel like
there's a lot happening in Denver.
Yes, I mean, he looks happy.
He looks ridiculously happy.
He's just wearing like a long sleeve T-shirt.
So this is the founder,
He's doing
owner.
what you wanted to do for the last year.
Yes, Stacy Staub. I've been wanting to do this. He's getting local artists. We can maybe put this picture up. It's an Inman article, but we'll put the picture up if you don't want to go over to the article. He's using his wall space in his office to showcase local artists and pop-up events, and it's got really cool art. Right. I guess that's the biggest fear, was saying, hey, just come hang some art in my office.
Well, I think you also need to be in a community, though, like that is encouraging art, because it seems like there's some art walk events. So, I mean, it seems like what he's doing, he's like sort of hopping into maybe something that's already going on there, because we don't have art walk events.
He looks really hip.
Here in downtown Niantic.
And so what I like about it is you can have these little events that start conversation, that promote other businesses in your community, and
just another person to meet.
Word of mouth.
Yes.
So that's our Marketeer of the Week. Our Not-so Marketeer of the Week is a realtor in Nashville who published a photo of him engaged in, what did you call it?
Well, let's just call it a sex act.
A sex act. Now you don't want to use your term?
Well,
what was your term?
Fellatio.
A fellatio act, a fallacious act in a listing.
I love how you're not using your noun properly.
For a Nashville home. So Miguel Calvo, congrats, Miguel. He's probably pissed. He actually threatened a lawsuit on the people that wrote this article, because they called him and they asked him if this was true. Hey, there's a.
Well, I think they asked him if it was on purpose or by mistake.
He put up, and please don't sue us, bro. This is already published. Everyone out there is sharing this article, but he put 31 photos up of his listing, a $399,000 listing, and one of them he just must have, had it in the same folder. He's obviously saving some other photos on his phone for later memories, maybe a throwback memory, if you will, whatever it was, and that was mixed into the group. So when they called him,
he was waiting for the magical
moment. This could have been a magical moment. See, I knew there was legs to that name, and
we need to end this now.
All right, this is over. There's a Scoop Nashville article. We'll link that up if you're interested in seeing maybe a blurred out version of the photo. It is in there.
It is definitely in there.
I feel bad for Miguel, because I feel like this was probably an honest mistake.
I would really like to think that it's an honest mistake.
And I don't know, but if you're not doing professional photos at this time, Miguel, this would solve the problem, because they deliver a folder
or maybe
of the photos you use.
I think maybe he just needs like an assistant.
An assistant to maybe double check.
Do it for you.
There is a learning moment here.
There's many. Well, yeah, so, you think?
I'm looking forward to Miguel getting on the Marketeer of the Week at some point.
Oh, well, maybe we'll reach out to Miguel. I mean, he may need some help.
Yeah. All right. So if you've got any Marketeers, not Marketeers, DM us on Instagram and make us aware of those. We'll mention you. I know. Should we mention the person that sent us the Not Marketeer, Melanie?
We love Melanie. She's always dropping us some good nuggets. This is a good nugget.
I love it. All right. So until next week.
Bye, guys.
Hit that like button.
Oh no! What is it?
Smash the like button.
Smash.
Thank you. Keep it real.